Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Family Law Assistance. I hope you've had a really good weekend, considering that most of the country right now are in lockdown. So today I thought I'd come live at you talking about something that's not quite so sexy. um, it's not quite so sexy as contact with the children, or it's not quite so sexy as the court hearing. Today, we're going to be talking about something really different. And we're going to be talking about organisation. Now, I remember my very first client ever. And so we're talking around 14 years ago. And my first hearing was actually a finance hearing. And this was quite a complicated case. It was a 2-day final hearing. And the client in question had many bank accounts, and what she was doing so that we could help put together the paperwork for her is she was sending over page by page of her bank statements. Now, bearing in mind there were 3 bank statements. Now, this was back in the day where we were using faxes. Who remembers faxes, right? That's how long we've been going. So this client was sending low page after page after page. But here's the thing that was going wrong. Was they were sending page after page after page. It was in no order. So the fax machine would spit out page after page, and you'd pick it up, and honestly, it was like the most unfun jigsaw puzzle in the entire world. We're trying to put together these bank statements and none of it seemed to match. We were sort of trying to work out which bank account number matched with what, and then what page are we at? And you know what? Because some of this was down to the fax machine. So we're like, well, hang on, she's faxed this over, but the bottom of the page number was missing. Honest to God, it was a nightmare. I probably spent around, well, collectively, we probably spent over 48 hours just trying to get this bundle together to help her in her final 2-day client hearing. So we did it. We put the bundle together. We got the page numbered after a lot of sleuthing, after a lot of umming and ahhing, after a lot of coffee, followed by wine. By this point, I can't remember which order that was. We finally arrived at court. So have you ever felt snowed under with a whole bunch of paperwork? Have you ever thought, my God, how many reports does one case need? Or have you ever thought, I've got all of this evidence, that'll show them? I'm going to talk today about being organised, because being organised, honestly, is probably the single best thing that you can do to help your case. The benefits of being organised is not only does it make you feel better, and trust me, the benefits of you feeling better and in control of your case, it'll follow out in what you do in the action. So if you're feeling in control, you're going to act in control. A lot of people that we deal with, family law is something that happens to them. But actually, if you switched it around a bit and put yourself in the driving seat, it can turn a reactive process into a proactive process. So being organised, like I said, is the single most important thing that you can do to help your case. And what do I mean by that? I simply mean get yourself a lever arch folder. And if you're worried at this point about, well, what do I put in it? Put everything in it. But there's a way to do it. I would get everything that you have. So if you've got social media, and absolutely get yourself organised. Put it all in chronological order. So if you've got screen print, social media, by the way, is a god. People often put things on social media that they don't actually intend to. And guess what? Later on down the line, it somehow finds itself into a bundle. So if you've got screen prints, if you've got messages, WhatsApp messages, Insta, Facebook, whatever it is you've got, letters, emails, print it out and put it in a folder. Put the folder into chronological order. By having in your head a virtual and real timeline, automatically you feel calmer. You're feeling in control. At the beginning, a beginning of that Lever Arch folder, I'm going to suggest you put together a chronology. Now the chronology is always going to paint a picture. And by chronology, I just mean putting down the milestones. Parties met, parties separated. Contact happened, contact didn't happen. What you don't want to be doing is literally rocking up to court with your Tesco carrier bag of life and saying to the judge, you deal with that, mate, because it just isn't going to happen. The benefits of being organised means that your head is in the game. It means that your head is ahead of the curve. Now, how are we going to do that? Now, if you all want a little bit of nighttime reading, I've just seen this comment. Stephen, my favourite is people scrawling comments and swear words across documents and then go to court. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Don't even get us started on that. If you've got a CAFCAS report or a local authority report, for the love of God, stop graffitiing it. You're going to need that report to be shown up in some physical document. The number of times that by we, of course I mean Stephen, has had to technically remove the graffiti from people's documents. Have you any idea how long that takes? Anyone ever seen that film, Jerry Maguire? Put that in comments if you have. It's a famous scene in there, and then he says, help me help you, help me help you. Yes, there's no graffitiing, okay, on court documents, on reports, none of that. Now, if you want a bit of nighttime reading, one of your best nighttime readings is going to be to read up, check out, learn, know and recite Practice Direction 27A. You're going to want to learn Practice Direction 27A because that is your bundle Bible. Now, anyone that's ever worked with me will know that I am Miss Bundle Bible. I'm the first one to advocate being organised and being together. Now, the way you do that in a court-appointed form is to read, know, learn, run, recite Practice Direction 27A. Honestly, it's just a collection of documents, but it's put in a way that the court understands. If you've got a Lever Arch folder and you've got all of your social media and all of your bits there, so that's process one. By the time we get to actually submitting that to court, we're gonna wanna drill down a little bit. Thank you, Stephen. Morning, Jim. Good morning. So Stephen's put down a link, he will do, to Practice Direction 27A. Thing is, it's a Lever Arch folder and it's cut into sections, so A, B, C, D, etc. Section A is the most important part of that bundle. It's so important because it holds your argument. And traditionally, it's going to hold 3 important documents. First of all is your chronology. Second of all is your statement of issues. What's the court going to be deciding? What are the issues outstanding? And number 3, you're going to want a statement of some kind. Now, actually, the rest of that bundle backs up what you put in section A. Not so sexy, is it? But it's possibly one of the most important bits of organisation and the most important thing that you'll probably put together. So get yourself loads of file dividers, get yourself some Lever Arch folders, a shed ton of paper and a half decent printer. You're going to put all of that into a Lever Arch folder. Section A is going to be your preliminary documents. Section B is going to be perhaps your applications and orders. Section C might be the reports. Section D might be the statements. And of course, Section E might be your additional evidence. So that's your social media, but keep it focused. If you haven't known by now, especially if you're in a child contact hearing, you're going to either want your toolkit for child contact, so that'll be the welfare checklist, or if you're in divorce, you're certainly going to want Section 25 of the Matrimonial Causes Act. Either way, keep it relevant, keep it focused. If you're there to prove that your ex is a liar, spoiler alert, the court's not going to be able to allocate enough time to prove or disprove that your ex is a liar. And whilst we're at it, It probably, the fact that your ex is a liar probably doesn't have much to do with your case. Keep it focused. Never mind what the other side is saying. Your case is your case. I spend so much time having to get people in the right mindset. It's not about your ex, it's about your case. And regardless of what your ex does or doesn't do, trust me, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. Now, way back when, somebody would once ask me what I used to do for a living. And I'd say, well, I'm the person wrestling the gun from people's hands. And it's true. You can probably do much more damage to your case than your ex. So don't give it the opportunity. If you have a bundle, being organised is, like I said, probably the most important thing that you can do for your case. You are the case. People who watch this page, people who watch our lives, are litigants in persons. You are the case. You know who, what, why, where, when and how, like that. And that is to your advantage. What most people don't know is how to harness all of that detail, all of that stuff into something that the court is going to A, recognise and B, read. There is no point in putting War and Peace into the court unless it's going to get read. Stephen, using your ex to attack your ex is misusing the family court, won't interest them and is a waste of time. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is not, I know it feels like it, and let me just point out, feels are very different to reals. I know it feels like the battleground between you and your ex. And look, in reality, it might be, but in a court arena, it's not. Anyone who's gone through the court arena will know that the rules that you play with in court are not the rules that you play with in reality. And I always hate to demean family court to such a level. But I don't know whether you're a card people or a chess people. I'm a chess girl myself. But it is like a game. And if you take that mindset, then you're able to think a lot clearly. So, like I said, being organised is potentially the most important thing you could do. Now, like I said, it's not sexy. It's not headline grabbing. Spoiler alert, most of the glory doesn't happen in the courtroom. Most of the glory happens in the prep. Again, it's not so sexy, is it? Imagine doing a blog entitled How to Prepare for Your Court Case. It doesn't quite sound so attention grabbing as I walked into court and I told the judge. It doesn't work like that. So being organised is the most single important thing. So a bit like Blue Peter, you're going to want to have your lever arch folders. You're going to want to have all the printouts. Keep it in paper. There's something, we have tried for years to be paper free, spoiler, and even now, and we've been virtual and we've been online way before a global pandemic. But for me, there is something about having a physical copy of your bundle to hand that makes it solidify in your head. You have the timeline in your head. Less is more. If you've got a whole bunch of social media stuff, by the time you're putting it into and write this down, boys and girls, a Practice Direction 27A compliant bundle, you're going to want to be really whittling that down. And in terms of your evidence, listen, there's always going to be the doozy of social media. There's always going to be the doozy of a text. There's always going to be a doozy of an email. The email that honestly box ticks a whole bunch of other stuff. Pick that one. Less is more. We're going for impact rather than a scattergun approach. By having a Practice Direction 27A compliant bundle also shows the other side that you're on it. Most people that are what we call naked litigants in person, people who don't have any other support, can sometimes give the other side the impression that they're the wounded deer in the Serengeti. Let that not be you. So what if you were in charge of your case? What if you turned your bag of nerves into something pretty much empowering? What if you've got all of your social media, and what if you've got all of your evidence nailed? What if you were in charge of your own case? So we arrived at court, armed, with the bundle, which by this point was probably as precious as the crown jewels. I mean, it should be after the length of time that we'd spent putting this damn thing together. It was meant to be a 2-day final hearing. On the basis of that bundle, coupled with some negotiations, we got the most elusive thing that I ever thought possible. We got a consent order. And for the client, yeah, she got what she wanted and then some. So guys, if you take nothing away from this, like I said, it's Monday. It's not the most sexiest of topics, but it is a really, really important topic. People try and look for case law justifying to their particular scenarios. Actually, regardless of any case law, let's start starting out and being good at the basics is probably the best thing that you could do with a case. If you need some one-to-one, don't forget to holler at us. We're here for you. Guys, have an amazing day. Over and out.